First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
We are watching Hurricane Michael as it strengthens. It could become a major hurricane by landfall.
Many living in north central Florida's coastal communities are boarding up and getting out.
Tonight we bring you team coverage as Hurricane Michael approaches Florida. I'm Mary Grace Scully.
And I'm Abby Murphy. Our reporters spent the day in evacuation zones along the coast in Levy, Taylor, and Dixie counties. They found out what residents are doing to prepare as the clock ticks down.
But first, let's get the latest information on Hurricane Michael.
WUFT's Brian Boggiano is in the Weather Center where he's been tracking this strong storm. Brian?
Yes, there's also some new information to get on Hurricane Michael. I will load the advisory in just a second. But we're seeing a lot of organization with this. A lot of the bands are starting to wrap together. This is signs of a strengthening hurricane. I will show you the latest 5 o'clock advisory. This is now a major hurricane. Winds are up to 120 miles an hour. Pressure is down to 957 millibars. It is moving to the north at 12 miles an hour still. It is just intensified to a Category 3 hurricane, and it's supposed to strengthen through the time it makes landfall. Quickly weakening Thursday, though, by the time it moves inland, 70-mile-an-hour winds. But still, we could see some heavy rain, some damaging winds, even some isolated tornadoes here in North Florida. The biggest concern, though, will be for the Nature Coast. As the storm continues moving to the north, we're going to see wind and water continue to be funneled just to the north. And with that, we are going to see a lot of water level rise along the area coastline, and this could lead to some catastrophic damage. I'll show you the latest heights. 8 to 12 feet of water rise possible for some places along the coast. 6 to 8, though, possible near Cedar Key. Now, we also do have a risk of tornadoes going into the day on Wednesday. A slight risk near Gainesville, Ocala, and Lake City. A little lower to the south near the villages, but still we are looking at the potential for some severe weather. I do have more information on the timing and the intensity of some of these storms coming up next in my full forecast. Back to you.
Thank you, Brian. People on the Gulf Coast in our viewing area are facing evacuation orders.
WUFT's Casey Albritton visited Cedar Key before the road to the island shuts down.
And what I did find was that the community was coming together. Irma wasn't so bad last year, but Hermine the year before was a major disaster, and they're worried about the storm surge that could come with Michael. They'll try anything to minimize damage: plywood, sand, bags, and even Gorilla Tape. A community filling up sandbags for the third hurricane to impact Cedar Key within 2 years, Hurricane Michael. High school students quickly fill sandbags, remembering the devastation of Hurricane Hermine in 2016.
It's hard to go through that again after going through it one time, because you walk on the island and everything's just gone.
While many people in Cedar Key are filling up sandbags and boarding up their windows, all of them are going to be evacuating on this bridge right here. But one owner of a motel is trying something a little different. When Hurricane Hermine hit, sandbags and boarding didn't help much at Low Key Hideaway Motel.
And there was water just around us, and the bed was starting to float, and end tables were flopping over, and everything was destroyed. I woke up the next morning and I was just like, what are we gonna do?
Now motel owner Maureen Dragonetti is preparing in other ways. With tape. She is hoping this will help protect the furniture she bought after Hermine.
Oh, I'm nervous that, we'll have to go through it again. It's very hard. But we'll get through it. But, yeah, Cedar Key's strong.
People in Cedar Key were supposed to evacuate today, including vacationers staying at the motel.
It's very disappointing. I really was wanting just a week where I could hang out and sit by the water and read books and have a few beers. So I'm really hating that we had to cut this short.
Both Michelle and Maureen expect the community will come together and overcome any challenges.
Oh, it was everything. Everything was devastating, but there's always something good in it, and that's the people. The people make you just keep going.
The evacuation deadline was 5 p.m. today. When the worst is over, only people with a pass will initially be able to re-enter Cedar Key.
Thank you, Casey. Here's the latest information we have for the 41,000 residents calling Levy County home. Evacuations have been ordered for the coastal communities of Cedar Key, Yankeetown, and areas along the Swanee River. Bronson Elementary School is now open and serves as the general population shelter for the county. There is no pet-friendly shelter, so all dogs and cats that need a place to go can be taken to the Levy County Animal Services building. Just bring a crate, food for your pet, and a current rabies certification.
Steinhatchee is another town on the Gulf Coast hit hard by Hurricane Hermine. Zach Oliveri spent some time in this Taylor County community today and joins us now from the newsroom.
It's a small town where everyone knows the drill. Stock up, secure valuables, evacuate if necessary. Many are confident the town will regroup after the storm is over.
It's the calm before the storm in Steinhatchee. Residents and businesses are making final preparations for Hurricane Michael.
Well, we're busting down all the tables, the chairs, the more expensive items we're trying to put to higher ground so they're not damaged with the surge.
Macaulay works at the Good Times Marina and remembers the destruction Hurricane Hermine caused just 2 years ago.
Everything was pretty much damaged, ruined. We had to get rid of a lot of food and get new bars, you know, the tabletops, chairs. Everything in here is pretty much brand spanking new.
This tape on the front door serves as a constant reminder of the damage Hermine caused at the Sea Hag Marina. While some were still sleeping, the employees were hard at work early in the morning, preparing for Hurricane Michael.
At the Sea Hag Marina, they're storing boats on higher ground this time because when Hurricane Hermine came in, the floodwater was to my shoulder, and that sent boats stored on lower ground floating down that street behind me.
For Michael, they are making sure it won't happen again.
I had a lot of customers come down and pick them up, taking them back home. We're putting them all on higher ground, just making it where none are able to get flooded and taken off the racks again.
Melissa Macaulay hopes for the best with this storm.
For my job and the people here, you know, I want to make sure I have something to come to after the hurricane.
The sense around Steinhatchee is people are taking Michael more seriously than Hermine. They're also hoping that maybe they'll catch a break, and the worst of the storm surge will be at low tide this time. Reporting from the newsroom, Zach Oliveri, WUFT News.
Thank you, Zach. Many residents in Taylor County have also been asked to get out ahead of the storm. Evacuation orders are in place for coastal Taylor County, including Steinhatchee and surrounding low-lying areas. Buses had been transporting some residents from the coast to the county shelter. That located at Taylor County Elementary School, which opened earlier this afternoon.
Serena Nunez traveled to Dixie County today.
She joins us after seeing hurricane preps at Horseshoe Beach.
It's another spot under evacuation orders. Even if Michael makes landfall on the western panhandle, the massive storm could remind the Big Bend of Hermine, hitting close to home at St. Mark's. Dixie County could again see a storm surge as high as 8 feet. That's a serious threat to the small coastal towns like Horseshoe Beach. The residents of Horseshoe Beach are under a mandatory evacuation. Many are preparing homes and businesses in anticipation of Hurricane Michael. Tom Cushman saw both his home and his shoe store flooded after Hurricane Hermine in 2016.
So we kind of know what's going on and we kind of know what to expect with the storm surge. But you know, the thing that you never know is you never know how much. You know, you never know what to expect as far as the depth of the water, the strength of the water.
Horseshoe Beach is a small town in Dixie County with a population of about 150 residents, all coming together in times like this.
We're survivors. You know, Horseshoe Beach is a very resilient community. We saw how this community came together during Hermine. Everybody helps everybody.
About 75% of the small town has already evacuated. People are taking away belongings, furniture, and even their homes. Many consider themselves hurricane season veterans.
I've been here since 1979, so I went through the storm of the century in '93 and then Hurricane Hermine in 2016, which has really been the two that's affected us the most. This one looks like it may be one that's going to affect us.
With a potential threat to life and property, residents are urged to be completely evacuated by tomorrow morning.
If everybody does like we did last time, we'll do all right.
Previous hurricanes have given the residents hope.
We're going to get through this. We got through them before. We're going to get through this one too.
The residents I spoke with today tell me they plan to come back to Horseshoe Beach as soon as authorities let them survey any damage.
Thank you, Serena. Parts of Dixie County are also under a mandatory evacuation. Residents are asked to leave the coast. The evacuation order includes coastal communities like Horseshoe Beach and Jenna, as well as low-lying areas and substandard housing. New Dixie County High School will be the primary shelter for evacuating in this area. And Grace Marketplace in Gainesville will be opening its doors as an emergency storm shelter tonight at 7. Grace will be providing food and shelter to anyone without housing in Alachua.
Many schools are shutting down as a result of the storm. A number of those school districts are right here in north central Florida. Dixie and Taylor County schools will remain closed through Thursday. Levy County schools will be closed Wednesday and Thursday. Gilchrist County schools are closed tomorrow. Suwannee County schools are closed through Friday. Columbia County schools will be closed tomorrow and Thursday with the plan to reopen on Friday. Alachua and Marion County public schools will remain open but continue to monitor the storm.
And the Alachua County Humane Society is preparing to take in more animals as Hurricane Michael approaches. The Humane Society is making room for animals coming in from county animal shelters in the hurricane's path. In order to do this, they're trying to get as many adoptable pets placed in temporary foster homes as possible. This will allow them to take in more lost or stray pets following the storm. This also means these impacted shelters won't have to euthanize animals due to a lack of space. Development Director Margot DeCona says fostering a dog or cat is the best way to help.
Come by and help us get all of our animals into foster so that we are prepared to take in animals from the shelters that are directly in Hurricane Michael's path.
If you are interested in fostering, DeCona says to visit the Alachua County Humane Society website to fill out a foster application.
Florida nursing homes are also facing new regulations as Michael bears down on the Sunshine State. All adult care facilities are required to have generators capable of keeping inside air temperatures below 81 degrees for 4 consecutive days. This comes after 14 elderly people died at a nursing home in during Hurricane Irma. That storm knocked out power for days at the rehabilitation center at Hollywood Hills in South Florida. 12 of the 14 deaths were eventually ruled homicides.
As hurricane preparations continue, gas stations are beginning to run out of fuel. GasBuddy.com is tracking the fuel outages in live time. As of later this afternoon, Gainesville is experiencing just over 3% of gas stations without fuel. In Tallahassee, 13% of the stations are without fuel. Panama City is following with a 20% outages. In Mobile, Pensacola area is leading with a climbing 22%. Coming up next on First at 5, the deadline to register to vote is here. Find out how you can still get to vote.
I continue to track Hurricane Michael as it makes its way towards the Panhandle. I have more information on that coming up in just a moment.